Hi, it's Don Southerton, and another weekly episode of Everything Korea. This week's vodcast I've given a topic to as November 16th episode, Crafting a Way. Stepping back to August 2005, I was conducting cross-cultural training and coaching sessions at a manufacturing facility. In the early months of the plant's operation, tensions between the American and Korean teams were mounting. That's not uncommon. Startup operations are always a daunting task. Pressure for everyone, whether American or global, whatever, or Korean. Lots of pressure. The additional cultural dimensions and language differences only compounded the odds of having a smooth launch. Recognizing these challenges, senior Korean leadership was very insightful. They asked if I could provide team-building workshops that would allow respective managers to better address the escalating concerns and issues. Now, consensus was that the problem was cultural. Koreans not understanding Americans and vice versa. I'd been working across that organization for several years and had dealt with what I thought were similar situations. However, a few hours into the team-building workshop, and it was a mix of both American and Korean senior leadership, I uncovered the true cause of the strained relationship. But it's not what I expected. Most of the American teams were production veterans, handpicked because they were top performers at their former companies like Ford and Toyota, Honda, Mercedes-Benz, and GM. In contrast, the Korean teams were career employees, mostly having worked for over a decade at the sister plant in Korea. Now, what surfaced in discussions was that many of the new American management team had been searching in earnest for a way, documented policies and procedures that would guide them in decision-making and in day-to-day work. For example, former Toyota managers looked for something similar to the Toyota way, which has been very successful, a true success model. Well, others have been working, let's say, for Ford, and we're looking for standard operating procedure manuals. And some of the big companies actually have manuals to help you look at the manuals. And so this was sort of their mindset. So not finding a set way resulted in some of the Americans feeling that there might be more than just communication and language issues. A few hinted that they strongly thought that there were trust issues and the Koreans were deliberately withholding information. Now, listening to the group, I had the realization that over the years working with other companies and this company, I'd found that they sharing historic background and the differences between Korean culture and other cultures was a proven, effective, commonly accepted learning model. Nevertheless, in this situation, and even today in many situations where I'm in, I've learned to realize that it's crystal clear to me that's what's truly needed in this situation was to clarify or impart the intangible, this way, or the vision. So jumping forward to more recent years, on a number of occasions I've shared my quest to better understand Korean companies' way. And this was triggered years ago in that earlier experience I had. I've probed and I've questioned and I've sat and chatted with senior and veteran Korean staff and executives. Time and time again, I've found that long employed by the company reflect for a moment on the question and then state frankly that the company's approach is not always easy to explain. For example, one senior Korean pointed out that within the company there are several management styles and approaches, and they are used to tackle issues depending on a person's lineage. In other words, who mentored them might determine a little bit more how they would approach a situation. You know, in the Korean workplace, and I talked about this in our previous episode on mentoring, that teams are groomed by their seniors. Junior members adapt the mentorship and the leadership style. Sometimes it's a hard style, sometimes it's a demanding style, other times it's soft and collaborative. Another executive imparted that their way was acquired over time. He added that with the exception of some minor differences, even among the sister companies, and when people transferred or moved from one entity or division to another, they still shared a common mindset. They did all explain that, understanding that across the organization was vital to understand the company. I'd just like to finish up the podcast today that, in contrast, recognizing lessons learned and incorporating a way into the operation of other American plants, I'd like to share a success model. In 2009, Korea-based Kia Motor Manufacturing Georgia's senior leadership took a bold approach day one. They crafted the Kia way. Now, this is, again, incorporating a broader Kia model globally, but one that was tailored for the plant and make sure they were effective there. Key elements were continuous improvement, one system, one team, effective two-way communication, cooperative mindset, and a harmony, teamwork, and trust approach. Now, at the core of this Kia way was to align the teams, both Korean and American. In particular, provided and provides continuity as new Korean expats come into the company and are assigned there, as well as Americans formerly employed elsewhere in the manufacturing industry join the team there in Georgia. All said, I'm a strong advocate of crafting a way, especially for Korean overseas operations. One that addresses and tackles and is tailored to the local needs while still aligning to the global organizational culture. Would you like to schedule a time to discuss this and how to implement and how to incorporate it into your program there? I'd be happy to chat with you. To facilitate with my current workload, and I'm doing an incredible amount of travel these days, I'd like you to reach out to my virtual assistant, Stacy. She can go and schedule you for a time. It's embedded. Their email address is embedded in this the copy that goes with this vodcast, and so you should be able to get in there and schedule that. So until next time, this is Don Southerton wishing you all the best.